As soon as I realized I was awake, I knew something was wrong. Everything was all hazy. All I knew was that I was inside of a giant crib in a weird, dark baby bedroom that looked familiar. Like maybe I was at home or sleeping over at someone's house, but even that didn't feel quite right. I really didn't know where I was or how I got there, but I wasn't alone. Inside the crib with me was my friend Chucky, and over in the other crib in the room were the twins, Philip and Lillian. They were all sleeping like logs, which didn't make sense to me. Could I be feeling so paranoid and frightened while they were literally drooling? By the looks of it, we lost our minds on a milk drinking binge that just went way too far, until we passed out for God knows how long. I shook it off and started trying to wake up Chucky, shaking and shoving him, but he refused to open his eyes.
Chucky, wake up! Come on, you gotta get up!
What do you mean? I'm just sleeping.
Guys, get up! Something's wrong! Can any of you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Tommy. You're really, really loud. Could you keep it down a bit? I want to go back to sleep.
No, you can't! You gotta stay up and help me figure out what's going on!
What do you mean?
I mean, like, where are we? How did we get here? And how are we gonna get out of here?
I don't know where we are.
What are you two blabbering about? Can you keep it down?
Everybody listen to me! I don't know what's going on, but something is really wrong! Can any of you remember what happened? No? Exactly! We shouldn't be here! We have to get out!
Okay, but how do we do that?
Well, it's obvious. We have to climb out of these cribs.
No way, Tommy. You can't.
Look how tall it is. If you fall, you'll die. We don't have any other choice, Chucky.
I'll go first. I was scared, but I knew I had to climb if I wanted any chance of escape. By the time I got to the top of the ledge, I was so dizzy from the height that I had to take a moment to steady myself. I took a deep breath in before committing to the jump. That's when the door flew open, and Angelica stormed in holding 2 baby bottles full of milk, screaming.
What the hell are you doing? Get back in the crib where you belong, you idiot!
Yes, Angelica, I'm sorry.
You better be. Now everybody get ready for your milk.
Can I get breastfed instead?
Shut up! You first, twinsies!
No! Don't do it, you guys! Don't drink the milk!
I tried to stop them, but it was too late. As soon as the bottles were in their hands, the bottles were in their mouths, and they were drinking the milk. And
Dry, straighten, volumize in one. Fabulous
mainos tässä välissä.
the milk, and just like that, Philip and Lillian rolled over onto their sides and suckled brainlessly. I couldn't believe what kind of grip this formula had on them. It was like they were hooked on it and couldn't escape their need for it. There had to be some kind of special secret ingredient hiding in whatever was in those bottles. Angelica laughed at them. Then she turned and looked at me and Chucky with the smile of an evil witch, saying,
"You're next."
For a moment, she stepped outside of the room to grab 2 more bottles, and while she was away, I tried to warn Chucky, who was just starting to look as frightened as I felt.
Listen, Chucky, whatever you do, don't drink that milk. It's bad for you. I don't know how I know, but I know, okay? Promise me you won't drink it, no matter what she says.
Yeah, Tommy, I promise. You won't either, right?
Of course not. We got this, Chucky. We're in this together.
What do you two think you're doing? Less talking, more sucking.
Angelica approached our crib and shoved the bottle in Chucky's face, but he turned and tried to push it away. This made her even madder, so she grabbed him by the collar and lifted him up into the air.
Come, Chucky. All you have to do is...
Drink it! With tears streaming down his face, Chucky folded and opened his mouth. Angelica then shoved the bottle in and dropped him. In an instant, he was in the same state as Philip and Lillian.
Now it's your turn, little Tommy. Open wide.
Screw you! Leave me alone or I'm calling the cops!
Open up, open up!
Open up! No!
I slipped up. I should have just kept my mouth shut, but Angelica got her way. As soon as that bottle popped into my mouth, it was all over for me.
When will you idiots ever learn? Damn it. I hate this stupid job. How do I even get stuck doing this anyway? I don't care about any of this. I should just start putting cyanide in those stupid bottles. Then there won't be a business and I won't have to be here. Wouldn't that be nice?
We've been waiting on you, Angelica. What took you so long?
I had some trouble with the rats in 104, but it's all taken care of.
Are you ready to take care of room 105?
Yeah, whatever. Give me the bottles.
There you go, Angelica.
Today marks the 1-year anniversary of when my granny and grandpa went away without saying goodbye. My parents told me that they were both doing just fine and that they missed me and my little brother very much. They allegedly went off for a vacation, but they never ended up coming back. I was sitting in my room coloring when I remembered that it was exactly a year ago that they left. But right as I started missing them all over again, I heard my parents crying downstairs. I knew they had to be sad as well. I wanted to console them, so I left my room and headed downstairs to see them in the living room. Yet, when I was halfway down the stairs, I was curious and I knew they wouldn't talk about grown-up stuff if they knew I was there, so I stopped and listened.
Oh, but how are we going to break the news to the poor little girl?
I don't know, my darling. Maybe she's old enough now for the talk.
Absolutely not. Surely her sweet, innocent heart cannot take such... Oh, it just isn't right.
I'm so sorry it has to be this way. If there was any other way I could change this cruel world we live in, you know I would.
Yes, I know you would.
In fact, I've decided they could take me next.
No, I can't live without you. Besides, you know they take us by pairs. You know what we have to do.
No, honey, please don't say it.
We must. It's the only way we can survive. We have to give up George and Peppa. For us.
No. That would be a selfish thing to do, to let those monsters sacrifice them before us.
You stupid old hog. We can make new piglets if we want to, but we have to be alive.
Call me a hog again, you sick dirt gobbling swine. What the hell is the matter with you? What kind of parent are you?
Well. I may take part in a bite of dirt from time to time, but I know where your tongue has been, mister. At least I don't stick my tongue up mine. Daddy, what's going on here? Why are you fighting? Peppa, my darling. Your father and I are having a grown-up discussion. You should go back up to your room.
No, let us stay. Why don't you explain to her everything you just told me?
Well, I will. You see, this isn't easy to say, but your father wants to...
No, don't put this on me, you stinking pork chop!
Fine! Peppa, your father and I are sending you and your brother off to be slaughtered this year.
The room got quiet. Mummy and Daddy stared at me blankly as I gradually understood what Mummy had just said. I was naive, but not stupid. I remembered what happened to Granny and Grandpa, and I heard everything Mummy and Daddy said. I knew what it meant. Peppa dear, go get your brother George. We didn't want you to, but look, it's time for you to, okay? Just listen to Daddy.
Yes, Daddy.
I walked away, trembling and choking on the lump in my throat, but I made my way up the stairs and went inside George's room, where he was playing with his toys without a care in the world. Suddenly, just looking at the innocence of my little brother made me feel like a grown-up, like I had to take care of him.
Shh! Don't say anything, George. Just listen. Mommy and Daddy have gone insane. They're trying to get rid of us. We have to hide right now. Come on, let's go. They're gonna find us in here.
I figured the one place Mommy and Daddy wouldn't expect us to hide in was their own bedroom, so we squeezed underneath their bed. Peppa Pig! What's taking you so long?
Oh, shut up. They've gone and hid. Why didn't you go up with her?
I could hear them start to fight again, wailing and screaming at each other and yelling all sorts of awful things. They stormed up the stairs and started tearing apart the bedrooms looking for us. I could hear everything being destroyed as Mommy and Daddy became more and more like wild animals. I know it's only because they didn't want to be sacrificed that they acted this way, and in some way I understand it, but I still can't fully believe how quickly they turned on us. But I only had a moment to think before they barged into the room. You little brats better come out of hiding right now, you hear me? They were just inches away. I was sure we'd be found. But then, something changed.
Shh! Stop it. Do you hear that?
It was the sound of someone breaking down the front door downstairs. It's him! Hide! Suddenly, Mommy and Daddy were scrambling for a place to hide just like us. But they didn't have the same luck. They were so big that no matter how much they scuffled around trying to be quiet, there was nowhere in which they could possibly hide from what was coming. And of course, it wasn't long before that man, the butcher, started making his way up the stairs. Here, piggy, 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 where are you? Come to Daddy now, my little bacon bits. I want some freshly bled pork chops. Yes, yes, yes. I can hear and smell you. And now all that's left to do is taste you. That's when the butcher appeared in the doorway, armed with a cleaver and a rope. Mommy and Daddy squealed when they knew they were trapped. Poor little George and I were hiding there the whole time, watching everything, unable not to hear the unforgettable sounds of the utmost suffering. Peppa George, help us please! We're sorry we were just... I wonder who this Peppa and George could be. Oh well, I've got my pair of piggies for now. I'll just have to come back for them next year. Finally, the Mad Butcher was then finished with his business and dragged Mommy and Daddy away, leaving me and George under their bed to finally understand why a pig never wants to grow up.
It all happened without warning. One moment, I was comfy.
Minus.
I was comfy, dozing off in my room. Then when I opened my eyes, everything familiar to me had vanished without a trace, only to be replaced by a capacious pink room where I sat next to a creepy doll on a giant couch.
Where the hell am I? Is this some sort of nightmare?
I asked myself frantically. I ran my fingers across my face, immediately noticing something different. I became aware of my odd hairstyle, including my large red nose. I knew I had become a clown. Bewildered, I just wanted to scream. I didn't know if this was some sick nightmare or if I was being held captive. And so, I trusted my instincts, aiming to get the hell out of here. When I got up, I glanced at the creepy doll next to me. It looked like a clown as well. I couldn't help but freak out as I scanned around the room, eventually spotting a window. I got up from the giant couch and made my way to the window where I peeked through the curtains. I remember seeing more of that weird, empty, cartoonish-looking world that didn't make any sense at all. Then, casually walking along the sidewalk were two people who looked exactly like me. Clowns. One had orange hair, purple shorts, and yellow shoes, while the other was an old lady wearing a green sweater and a purple skirt. They waved at me like they had known me for a long time, but that was impossible. I had never seen them before, so out of fear, I shut the curtains and ran back to the giant couch, rummaging through the pillows as I freaked out. Moments later, I felt something sharp and was initially frightened. Then, when I looked closer, I saw a seashell and picked it up. I put it next to my ear and could hear ocean sounds. However, I then heard a voice, low and sinister apart from the sound of the waves, telling me to obey the doll's commands. Freaking out once more, I tossed the seashell across the room. I situated myself on the far end of the couch, away from the creepy doll as I had my eyes fixated on it.
I just want to go home.
Then suddenly, the doll began to speak, its voice docile, tiny, and malicious.
But you are home.
Convinced my life was in danger, all I could think of was how to escape. But unaware of where I was, I didn't know where else to go, nor how to avoid getting caught by those who seemed to have recognized me from outside. I was sweating like crazy as my entire body trembled in fear. A part of me was convinced that I was going nuts. Then, while the doll's body remained stationary on the couch, its head moved to face me. Seconds later, it grinned and said,
There's nowhere else to go, my dear. Unless
Unless what?
I asked, my body still quivering.
Unless you play the clock game.
I had no idea what this entity had in mind, but I didn't have a choice either. So I took the only chance I had and played that silly game. No matter what, I had to win. I had to be free. Having found my courage and resolve, I stood up and said,
Okay, fine, have it your way. So how do I play this game?
the little creep clapped her hands in delight and laid out the mechanics.
It's pretty simple. First, you must lay on the clock rug over there. Then, touch 6 numbers of my choosing without moving your other ligaments.
It seemed simple enough to understand until the doll added,
But remember, you must keep smiling the entire time. If you don't, you lose and you're mine forever. Do you understand?
I gulped, knowing what a huge risk it would be, but eventually I nodded, agreeing to the terms of the cursed doll.
Excellent! Now first, reach out to number 12 with your right hand.
I quickly positioned my arm to touch the designated number.
Good! Now, put your left arm to number 1.
I stretched my arm with a bit of tension, but gladly, it was still doable.
Okay, not bad. Now this time, give me 5 more minutes with your left arm without moving your shoulder.
Unless I was double jointed or some kind of freak working for the circus, I knew I wouldn't be able to do it without breaking my bones. But as I glanced at the crazed doll, its words burrowed deep inside my head, and I remembered that if I lost, I'd have to stay here forever. One way or another, it had to be done. And so, with all the desperation within me burning, my only goal was to escape. I forced my arm to reach for number 2, and then my arm cracked with tremendous pain.
Perfect! Now, put your left leg at number 3.
The doll sounded more aggressive, but knowing I could still endure the pain, I broke my left leg to reach number 3.
Here's another one. Place your right leg to number 11.
With the adrenaline pumping through my veins, I didn't mind cracking another bone as I reached for it, tears running down my face while I continued to smile.
You're amazing, Lunette. I like you. Now, let's take things up a notch.
She pointed at my head, and with a sinister grin, she said,
Now, place your head at number 6. Do this successfully, and you're free to go.
I panicked, knowing it would be impossible to achieve. My entire body was distorted, ruined, but I was still determined to get out of here, and so I laughed like a lunatic as I awkwardly twisted my head, almost reaching 180 degrees. I kept turning as much as I could while I stared into the eyes of my demise. I didn't care anymore, I just did what I could, but obviously was unable to complete my objective. And that's when I saw the doll pull out a knife from under the pillow, saying,
That was very exciting, Lunette, but I'm afraid it's game over.
Hey Molly, look who we have here. Another candidate ready to play Lunette the Clown.
Why don't you have a seat on the big, comfy couch, darling?
So, are you ready to play Lunette the Clown?